Matt, good to see you again. My name is Robert Boyd, as you know, and I'm the CEO of Endurance Gold, and I'm talking to you from the PDAC here in Toronto. And we're having a busy conference. I haven't heard the numbers, but it looks like it's over 20,000. The numbers probably don't come out till today sometime, but we've had, at our booth, we've had some steady traffic. We only have the 2-day booth, and then I've been quite involved with one-on-one sessions right now. But we've got a great story, and I just want to provide you an update. We've got this great gold discovery just 4 hours summer drive north of Vancouver in this historic mining camp at Bralorne, and we've drilled 60 drill holes now, and of those diamond drill holes, 70% of them have got very good intersections in excess of 3-meter widths in what we consider 10-gram-meter type intersections, which is a pretty good hit ratio, and 11 of those holes have very good intersections, sort of between 63 and 400-gram-meter, but that includes pretty significant widths. Drill hole intersections like 15 grams over 24.8 meters, and one of our more recent holes, it's not a true width, but about 139 meters of 3 grams is probably more like a 15 or 30 meter true width. But so we're into a pretty dynamic and strong gold system, and the average depth of all of our diamond drill intersections to date is below 70 meters below surface. So we're literally just tapping into the system near surface, and it's an orogenic gold system. So it's got all the potential to continue significantly at depth. And it's a high-level system, so it looks totally different than Bralorne, only 10 kilometers away from Bralorne, which is a crack and seal high-grade vein. We're into wide breccia sequences that look like, the one structure in particular we've blocked out looks like it averages about 9 meters true width over a significant strike length, about 550 meters strike length, and that's the zone we see open at depth, and we got to continue to do that work. And we're stepping into a program this coming year we hope to be like 10 to 15,000 meters is what we're planning on, and that program would start with a single rig and then hopefully transition into 2 rigs and dedicate one of those rigs, at least one of those rigs, possibly more, to chasing these systems at depth and really open it up over and above what we've got near surface.
Well, Robert, thanks very much for the kind of quick overview there. We haven't seen you since July, and I'm glad to catch up with you here at PDAC. Now, when we saw you last July, your share price was doing what others couldn't. It was kind of like maintaining sort of steady state. In terms of it wasn't a kind of ski run like most precious metals. Now, I'm kind of intrigued as to how you kind of read the market, because your share price has come off this year, okay? But
yes,
it's come off in the context and the backdrop of you hitting these super high numbers. You took about 135 meters of 3.6 grams, really, really nice. You see super high grades, but people aren't giving you credit for that. So what are the conversations at PDAC like? What are people saying to you? Have you got a sense of why this fall off on the share price?
Well, it's a good question. Sometimes you can never really know these the answers to these questions. We've got a pretty loyal shareholder base. We're a tightly held company. 3 of us as insiders own about 55% of the company, so our trading float is pretty tight. We do have a couple of institutional shareholders in there, but we don't have a big institutional base. It's a lot of private, I would say, family-type fund money, and our local technical community in Vancouver. So nobody's told me why it is that we're selling, but we've gone down a little bit over the last month, but I think we've picked up off our bottom yesterday, and I'm not sure what we're going to be. I guess the market isn't even open yet, but we picked up on 300,000 shares, and we look like we've got through whatever it is and whoever it was that was selling a bit to take us down. So we are in a quiet period. I mean, you're in our business, when you're in the exploration business, you're only as good as your last hole sometimes, and so we just have to say, look, keep the faith, folks. We're onto a good system here, and we're just going to continue to build it and work it. So,
you're definitely doing that. You're definitely knocking it out of the park with the numbers. And I think most people will be jealous of the sort of numbers that you've been able to put at. But all of it needs to kind of work, right? So 53 directors owning 55% of the company. That's kind of interesting. I couldn't work out last time whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, with the institutional shareholders in there as well. In terms of, how liquid the stock is, do you feel that you need to do more on the corporate side this year to kind of allow the company kind of, I guess, benefit from a bit more trading from a few more shareholders? I mean, what are you doing on that side of things?
Well, I guess we can always do better. I'm an explorationist. I know I'm good at that, and so we just have to continue to focus at trying to do a better job and providing a support for people that want to trade our stock. And in some ways, having long-term shareholders is good, but it also creates sensitivity if you've got a small trading float. Despite our issued and outstanding, our probably trading float's more like about 30 million, and so we are sensitive to that kind of activity. And I guess as we grow and we finance and distribute shares in financings and stuff like that, we'll create a broader shareholder base and increase that liquidity.
Right. Okay. And obviously, since we last saw you, you did raise a little bit of money to kind of keep things moving. That was shortly after. That was back in October. Any plans to raise any capital anytime soon?
We're not marketing at the present time. We ended up the year with about $4 million in working capital. It doesn't show on any of our public financings yet, but we closed a $2 million financing late in the year. We also had the exercise of everybody but one person exercised in our 25-cent warrants that expired late last year. Then we also had another $600,000 or so come in on tax credit rebates and our incentive programs that we tap into here with the BC government. And so we're actually sitting on a pretty good working capital that allows us to move forward and start with a drilling program. And once we're back up and drilling, then the attention will return to our stock, and we are definitely getting a lot of interest and surprise in terms of our success ratio on where we found it. I mean, we found it in a camp that people have been whacking around in the bush and in that area since the 1860s, but they were looking for veins, and these are breccia systems, and when they weather, they just weather as mucky orange stuff on surface, and they were overlooked.
Right. Okay. And I do want to get on to the drilling and the exploration components, but I want to kind of try and understand and get the makeup of it, because when we spoke last July, we talked about the business plan, where you came from in terms of prospector, exploration. You've also, you've sold off a couple of assets, Rattlesnake to GFG and the Pardo project, Inventus Mining, etc. So you've been kind of good curators of the portfolio and, monetizing when you needed to. So for you, given the results recently, have you decided to kind of get focused on specific parts of the portfolio to kind of see if you can generate that growth story, or will you need to offload some of the portfolio as you have done historically?
Well, we do have two other good assets that we own 100%. Bandito, rare earth niobium, and in the present market, we have to look at how do we monetize that and deliver good value for shareholders. So we're sort of looking at our strategic alternatives for that project right now. We also have another good 100% owned reduced intrusive hosted large tonnage low grade type target in Alaska from in the Tintina Gold Belt, and we're really pleased with that project, but it's idling now. We're keeping our eyes firmly on Reliance. We see the ability to deliver a major discovery here, and we think advancing the Reliance is the most critical thing for our shareholders, including ourselves, who are well vested in this. It's a good use of money. We can deliver low-cost discovery ounces, and in a camp that has a lot of alternatives. We're only 5 kilometers from a hydropower facility. So all of these kind of things, road access and everything, just say, look, we've got a discovery here. Let's focus our eye and keep our eyes on that. We have no interest in flipping it out or selling it at the present time. We think the best value for our shareholders is to turn this into a significant resource.
Right. Okay. So Reliance Gold taking precedent over the Bandito rare earth niobium project, which is, I guess, in moments like this, must be a kind of difficult, protracted conversation in the sense that, some of the people coming out of BMO, some of the people coming out of Mines of Money down in Miami, I felt that, certainly on the precious metal side, felt that they're being overlooked in preference to the in preference by the electric vehicle, the green metals, as it were, the coppers and graphites and nickels, etc. And perhaps gold was sort of having to take a back seat at the moment, which as it has done for 18 months. But rare earths too, kind of goes into that kind of critical minerals interest at the moment. So do you not feel that the kind of Bandito project has some legs and deserves some capital thrown at it?
Yeah, it does, and but I think if we look at throwing some capital at it, I think we'd prefer to do it in a separate corporate structure or bringing in a partner that has the access to value add, because that's what definitely and still remains one of the key issues. If you get a product in the rare earth, especially in these peralkaline cyanide systems, if you get a product, you got to figure out a way to actually a mining product. You got to turn it into a marketable product, and it would be beneficial to us to build a bridge and finance it in the context of someone that can deliver on that side. And people forget too that our Reliance project has an antimony component with it, and antimony is one of the critical metals. 85% of antimony comes from Russia and China at the present time, and it's a real strategic mineral in a lot of uses throughout the economy. So part of our effort too in looking at the Reliance project is to say what can we do? Is there something we can do to extract an antimony type product or an antimony gold product separate from the focus of the real rock value, which is in gold?
Right. Okay. So we I think you've been quite clear about saying, okay, you're good at exploration, you're heading good grades, and you're focused, and you've been careful to sell off parts of the portfolio and so reduce the kind of dilutive component for prospectors and explorer that you are. But what does this year look like? Because, as I say, sitting around sort of 35 to 40 million bucks at the moment, it's a kind of interesting stage of growth for the company. But you're going to need to point to or create a narrative around how does this company get valued into the future. You've got some money at the moment. What do you do with it?
Well, I think we're going to put it in the ground. We want to turn that into more ounces on the Reliance project, and we feel that the idea of diluting shareholders and funding through equity at the present time is really delivering value. And our goal here is just turn Reliance into a multi-million ounce gold system. We haven't achieved that yet, but I think with the penetration ratio, the volume that you can see with what we've got based on our shallow hits to date, we're well on our way to demonstrating the potential for a very large gold system here.
Right, but it's going to require lots more meters. You've done about how many meters have we done so far? Sort of.
We've roughly done about 12,000 meters of diamond drilling, and
right.
Then about 4,000 meters of RC, which was mostly shallower holes. But we focus, in terms of the diamond drilling, it's 12,000 meters in 2 programs. Only 60 holes, right?
Yeah.
System like this, it's not, still early days.
So how do you, given what you saw last year, and given what you're seeing, quite frankly, for the last 2 years in the precious metal spaces, how do you play this? Because we've seen different strategies being employed, and companies, changing strategies, quite frankly, trying to work out what's going to engender some kind of response from the marketplace. Do you just keep drilling meters and hitting these high grade things? Do you put some kind of resource together? Do you bring partners in? So what's your view on it? Do you still feel in control of this thing?
Well, I think at the present time, our objective is to add value by spending funds on the project ourselves. But there comes a time where you have to continue to, as the program grows and the project grows, you have to continue to look at what's best and what makes most sense for shareholders in terms of dilution versus other alternatives. So I think we just have to make that decision annually. At the present time, we feel the best for our shareholders is to put money in the ground and grow this system and try to at least break the billion-ounce potential on this. And then once we do that, then we'll step back and decide, well, now we should perhaps in 2024, try to deliver a resource of some kind for shareholders to demonstrate where we are.
Okay.
Our focus here is to grow the system right now.
Okay. And for you, Robert, what will a successful PDAC look like? When you sort of look back in a week's time at PDAC, you say, what would you wanted to have seen, or what conversations would you wanted to have had, and why is that good for shareholders?
Well, we've been in a quiet news period since our last drill results, and so it's really a conference like this, and all these conferences help to raise awareness, and people go, "Wow, I didn't know you were onto this kind of thing," and this looks really encouraging, and so it's important for us to raise the awareness both with our peers and with the capital markets in terms of what we're doing. So that's what these conferences really do for you. So.
Okay. Well, look, Rob, I know you're busy. You got a stack of one-to-one sessions lined up as well. You kind of slotted us in very kindly. So I'm going to let you go. I hope to see you soon. Maybe we can dig into the weeds with regards to the detail around some of the drill results. That you're really finding the gold at the moment, and hope those answers keep coming.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Matt, and we'll stay in touch.